I'm gonna leave some over here. It's a video.
It's a video. Oh. You doing like? I'm good. I'm pushing down.
Now therefore, I, Don Ward, Mayor of the City of Tyler, Texas, hereby proclaim May 18th, 2024 is Mental Health Awareness and gosh, it's great to be here. Thank you all. Everybody else is involved with this, and it's just sometimes you feel like you're just knocking your head against the wall because it's such a big problem and we can't get across that barrier. So I really do thank you all for what you're doing. It's needed, and you all are very much appreciated. Now I'm going to give you the last word.
Thank you. And we are seeing our children affected.
Thank you.
In very,
You're not even gonna say it.
I was.
You do it. I'm not even ready.
I was just getting the table before I said something. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing? I like your hair. Thank you.
I got you. Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you so much.
So is your name Grayson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Tyrec Grayson.
I'm working with disability services at the Southwest. It's not a service. Yeah, I plan to get mine because I've had knee surgery and stuff, but I'm planning to get them trained to be a service dog. So, yeah,
You registered to vote?
No, ma'am.
We can take care of that today, right now. Come on. So before we
see, I saw y'all, and I thought
you should register to vote, can we just go ahead and take care of him? You okay with that? Okay, thank you.
No.
Did anyone miss time?
That's how we do it.
oh my word.
You do it. You can do it too. We're having fun. Hey. Daddy, come on. Look at the video. Turn it off.
Where you go?
I thought you had no hair.
I grew it out.
Did have hair.
when I asked this young man to speak for me, he said,
is Tyrec Grayson, as you may know. I currently work as a behavior therapist with kids from the ages of 2 to 9. And I work with kids with autism, and we just teach them how to well, me personally, I teach them just how to belong, how to love, how to care, and how to be aware of their surroundings. And so, I would say the best moment in that situation or in that opportunity of my life is seeing the change, like seeing people be able to write and seeing people able to speak and say words and stuff. That's very inspiring. And so today I'm here to just talk about mindfulness. And so I created an acronym out of mindfulness that I just want to go over real quick. And so M is for mental health, and for me personally, mental health is self-worth. So how you present yourself, how you prepare for things, how you close on things. So that's pretty much my premise. I like to put things in 3. So it's preparation, presentation, and then close. And that's pretty much how I look at self-worth. How you present yourself is like appearance, what you wear. It's also display. Display is what you see. You also have, from there, we're gonna move on. You have the next thing is your intention. So you have the intention or your goal, what you want. And so you have your start, and then you have where you want to go. And so your intention is the actual direction, like where you're actually going. So it's just intended, meaning the flow of traffic type thing. And so a lot of us be getting confused on just wordplay in general. And I'm not gonna say it's simple, rather than we have to be very intentional on how we speak and the words that we actually present to the public, because the environment that we have is a stage, and everything from the stage is literally just influence. So everything is impacted off each other, like it's stacked on each other. So from intention, you have the N, which is network. Network is pretty much what we're doing here. We all coming together, collaborating, becoming one, which is unity, but that's going down. But network, I put on here, network has to do with mentorship, because me joining, getting into business, and because I have my own business, Grayson Galore, I learned that I can't do it all myself, even if I felt like I knew the right thing, and even if I felt I knew the right path. I had to actually find somebody who was experienced, because when I jumped into the water, I realized that I couldn't swim. And I also realized I left my floaty, and then you also realize that you wasn't supposed to be in the water to begin with. So it's like, you have to, the peers that you have around you, they literally shape your reality. They shape everything around you. Like your environment plays big in not only who you become, but who you are as a person, who you call yourself. And so mentorship was big with me, because I looked at everybody as a mentor. If I haven't talked to you already, I'm asking questions. I'm trying to see what can I learn from you, and not necessarily what can I benefit from you, but me being 26 years old, I'm trying to learn as much as I can. Because I don't know when my last day here is, but I want to know at least that not necessarily that I was me, but that I gave my best in everything I did. And to anybody that thank you. The D is dreams. I love to dream. I don't like to sleep, but I love to dream. I'm always standing around, staring into space and looking into stuff. And then when I talk to people, I kind of stare, and it's like, because I can see the actual environment that I'm talking about. I can see the actual dream that I'm talking about. I can see the potential that I'm telling you about. And so to me, that's being mindful, is being aware of your own gifts and your own intentions and your own talents, and being able to express that as best as you can. And so dreams has to do with your passions. Me learning in business, making money is easy, but making money doing what I want to do is hard. And so what I love is mental health, you still have to have faith that you know that paycheck is coming. And so that starts with having a vision, and a vision is not necessarily, that's why I started off with goals with intention. Intention is cool because it's pretty much like a plan. You have an idea of what you want, but then you have to turn that into a strategy, which is pretty much a vision. Your strategy is how you plan on getting to where you're going. And so a lot of us have big dreams and we have a lot of intention, but we don't have a key strategy that's going to put the momentum into that, to get the outcome that we deserve, that we say we deserve. That's another thing. We can go to the U. U is unity. Unity has to do with family, so it's bringing everything together. And it's also kind of in the middle, so I put unity right there. So all of these words that I'm telling you, if you picture it, they all like kind of stack on top of each other, but also condense into each other. And that's what I was really trying to get to. I'm very big on planning. I'm very big on blogging. I'm very big on like studying stuff. I used to want to be a zookeeper when I was little. And then I found out they only made like $26,000 a year. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with trying to be a scientist. And so with my passion and my love for mental health, I chose to get into behavior therapy and learn about mental health. So my goal is to be a counselor. And right now I'm working on just training people, creatives and athletes, especially the youth, to just monetize. I call it monetizing their passion. And it's really just finding what they're interested in and exploiting it, literally. Because why would you let somebody else exploit your own gift when you have your gift to give to everybody else? And so that's pretty much my premise of my business and everything. Family comes first, as always, and so love comes after L comes after the U, and which is love. Love has to do with purpose. So how I look at things is purpose is in the middle, my dreams is behind me or to the left, and then to the right would be your vision. And so people fail to realize that you're in your purpose, if you have your purpose, you're standing in your purpose, and your dreams is you have to step back in order to move forward. And you're not stepping back meaning you're going backwards. You're stepping back into your dreams so you see a better perspective of your vision. And so that you can move. And that's how I pretty much see things. That's why I said at the beginning, display, form, capture. Display is what you see. Form is what is like what's in formation, because everything is always moving. Just like when you take a picture of something, you capture its action, you don't capture the whole presence of it, rather than you just capture just one little meaning. And then capture is just what is the meaning. And so purpose to me is literally just your presence. And every time that no matter where I go, I want to make sure my purpose or my presence is heard. And so that's just me showing care, being not just what they say, not being nice, but being kind. So it's like, and I'm learning that now, but it's being able to not necessarily be the bigger person, but being that person that somebody can count on. And so next is one of my favorites is needs. We all have needs, and so I'm in psychology, and so this is dude named Maslow. He created this hierarchy of needs as a pyramid. At the very top it says self-actualization. The next tier below that is self-esteem. Then it goes to love and belonging, and then safety and security. And at the very bottom it's psychological needs. And I'm just going to tell you a little about these real quick. Self-actualization is the desire to become the most that you can be. And so that's pretty much like when you have a vision or you have a dream, and your dream is to be a great writer. But your vision is just you want to write 5 books and be a best-selling novelist type deal. Then, therefore, you're going to have to self-actualize that by you actually putting in the work and writing an actual book. That's literally as simple as that. We be thinking that tomorrow we're supposed to wake up and be this like award-winning novel, a Grammy award-winning person, when we're not looking at how much it took that person to actually get to that position. And so self-actualization is actually like seeing the desire, being aware of the desire, but also having enough courage to actually, or you can also say being humble enough to know that you have to put in work to get to that position. And so everything and anything takes sacrifice, and it's just, that's why it's all about your passion and your purpose, what you love. All these words have to do with the same thing. It's all about intention and direction towards something that you want, something that you desire. E is effort. Effort is all about willpower. And I'm learning that in business, if you just sit in bed, your bills don't get paid. Like nothing changes. And so you have to, that has to do with like your mentality. And so you have to have the mentality to strive and not just desire to be better. And so I'm learning that it doesn't just, like hard work isn't always hard work, it's just, you're just being difficult. And so, because it's always I'm not gonna say there's always a better way to do it, but there's a more direct way to get what you're trying to get. And so, willpower plays a lot in mental health because you have to want what you're trying to achieve. Otherwise, you don't see no real benefit. And I see that in the youth a lot because me being 26 years old, I fail with a lot of instant gratification and stuff because it's just like, I mean, why not? Why can't I have it? Right. And so, but that just goes into like discipline and being able to have self-control, and that's experience, that's time. It takes time for that stuff. And so I think the best thing for my mental health and being mindful of my own is not saying, oh, you're doing bad because I messed up, or let's say, like I was on a sobriety thing and I messed up one day. It's not looking at myself like I'm back to square one, rather than look at all the work that I put in, look at the good in it, and stay positive. And okay, we see where we are, but what can we do from now? Instead of always turning around and looking behind us. S is spirit. Spirit has to do with peace. To me personally, spirit has to do with peace. And so not necessarily how I do anything, but I like to meditate. And I call it ABT. It's called Advanced Behavior Training. And it's pretty much me just, for 20 minutes, I do like visual training. So I like visualize my dreams. I visualize what I'm grateful for. I visualize the people that I want to help. But then I visualize it in a way of me actually doing it. So it's like, in a way, it's self-actualizing. So it's like I sit in a bed and I'm laying down, I'm looking up at the ceiling, and I'm just thinking out my day, like actually walking out my day. And it's like, okay, I meet this person, I talk to this person, they're sad, and so I ask them how their life is and what they're dealing with and stuff like this. So it's like reflecting on what my visions and my missions that I want to fulfill. And so the second S is success, and success is fulfillment to me. And when you look out in the world, well, especially on social media, you can see a lot of people who are, so to speak, successful. And so a lot of us have put success on money rather than people's actually livelihoods and their mental health. There's a lot of rich people who are literally struggling, not necessarily financially, but they're rich, but struggling like mentally. And so success has to do with fulfillment to me because I really, 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 really do feel that I'm successful. And it's only because I'm in a place in life where I can sit and I can not necessarily I have to worry about bills. Obviously I have to pay bills, but it's more so like I'm not going to sit here and let something that I can't. If I have no ability right now to make it, change it, or anything, what is me stressing about it right now going to do for me? And so I have to learn your floor, if you always looking down at yourself, your floor is gonna be way down here. And so I stopped doing that in high school, and it's crazy because Miss Tyler told me, like, she said all the things, good things, and I used to run touchdowns and all this stuff. And it's funny to look back on my life and see like how depressed I was in high school, but how many friends I had. And it just woke me up being older because now I don't hang around with the same people anymore. We don't even like fit in the same stuff anymore and stuff. And so it's just, I feel like that's just maturity. And so things that fulfilled you once don't fulfill you anymore. And so that goes into like just growing up and actually understanding that, oh, I have control over my mental health. I want this for my mental health. Oh, this is for my mental health. And so that's why I pretty much said mental health to me is self-worth. Because if you don't want better for your life, if somebody else doesn't want better for your life, it shouldn't be in your life. So before I leave, I do want to tell you guys a 3-step formula that really like opened my mind up is obviously reading the Bible. I understood that the perspective change from the First Testament to the Second Testament opened me up to like viewing how life is. And so I'll just tell you like my idea on that. The first book was more so about seeing it from an objective perspective, and then the second portion is more so about actually living in perspective. And so it's good to actually see it and see everything flow, but the actual movement comes from actually being in the move, like being in movement, being the actual form, being the formation. Everything's always moving. So if you're not going to act and you're always going to display the action or put all the meaning on the action, you never actually you won't have no momentum. And so the 3-step formula that I figured out was it's awareness, action, and then maintenance. Everything is awareness, action, and maintenance. Once you are aware of something, you have the ability to act upon it. Once you act upon it, the only thing stopping you now is maintaining it. And so if you want quality, if you're looking for quality, then that's integrity. If you're looking for quantity, then that's intention. That's how I look at it. So thank you for allowing me to talk. I really appreciate it.
I've been trying to be quiet all day, and I know we're overdue for our panel. We want to hear our panel, but we are so happy to have Tyrec with us today, and we want more of the 18 to 25 to come. And he's got a blog, and he's going to get us some young people here next year. And I just want you to know the statistic that of our young youth, African American youth, 18 to 25, 33% are suicidal. They contemplate it or try it. That's too much. That's too much. So I'm proud of him. I'm glad he's blogging every day and kids are following him. And I'm just praying that he will continue and be a great therapist, great psychologist one day.
We're going to ask our panelists to come up. Y'all have a spot up here.
As you can tell, I don't really need a mic. I am a retired LPC here in Tyler. Many years of working at the Andrews Center and kind of freelance now. So the panel here today, what we were asked to do as a panel is to basically tell you how to access mental health services here in the city of Tyler, in the area of East Texas. Some of the agencies we were hoping to expose today were not able to be here, but we do have 4 agencies represented. And I have Janie Harwood, who is the CEO Avail Solutions, and it is out. When she comes forth, she'll tell you a little bit more about what her agency does and how to access. We have Carol Henson with UT Health North. We have Keisha Morris with the Andrews Center, and we have Rashawn Franks, who is with Community Health Corps, who I will allow her to say what areas they also reach out to. Okay, so we're going to get started, and again, what they're going to do first is tell you a little bit about their agency and then how to access services there. At the end of that, and anything else they want you to know about that particular agency. And at the end, if they haven't answered your questions, then we'll give you opportunity to ask them specific questions. So first, we're going to have Jamie. Would you like to go first? No. Okay. Would you like to go first? Okay. Jamie Harwood with Avail Solutions.
Laura asked me if I would come, and I think I'd been asked about this before, and I got mixed up between that and another conference. And I said, no, I won't be going to that. And Laura says, well, will you come to it? And it's like, sure, I'll come to it. And I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to see that this is going on in the community. I will tell you a little bit about my background. I started Avail Solutions in Corpus Christi, Texas, back in November 9, 1999. So how many years does that mean I've been in business since 1999? Come on, give me a number.
25.
I have to think about it, but this November 9th, I have been doing this for 25 years. And there are moments I wake up and think, how did this happen? Whenever you start a business, like the young gentleman said, you really don't know what you're doing. And that sometimes is helpful because if you make a lot of mistakes, you don't even know you made those mistakes. We started out answering mental health centers. There was two. I had been the CEO of psychiatric hospitals in West Virginia, Kentucky. I've been all over. But then when I was in Corpus, the company I was working for decided to shut down their mental outpatient or freestanding psych hospitals. So I thought, well, I've worked with enough idiots, I can be an idiot. And I started my own company, and believe me, there have been times I wondered if I met that criteria. All right, so we had a couple mental health centers that agreed to go after hours for crisis lines. There was 8 of us. We answered the phone after hours. The state says, okay, you all have to be AAS certified. I said, what is AAS certified? That's the American Association of Suicidology. Okay, who are they? Well, you got to get certified by them. Okay, well, let's try that. And then when the state said that, a lot of the centers decided they want to go with us 24/7. So I jumped from 8 employees to 10, 14. Did not plan to go over 14 employees because of all the new rules and standards. I am now at 78 employees. So needless to say, I didn't know what I was doing, and I still don't seem to know what I'm doing. I keep growing. Now we cover 26 mental health centers in Texas. We cover 80% of the counties in Texas under the mental health centers, 24/7. We do all kinds of things. We do assessments. We do the crisis lines. We do Fort Worth, and El Paso. So anytime they get calls from 988, which is now the National Suicide Line, for lack of a better word, if they aren't able to answer it, guess where the call goes to? It comes to a veil. And it's like, what's wrong with those people? Why don't they answer the phone? Why are we getting all these calls? Well, we've been doing this for about a year now, as far as 24/7, all to 54 counties. And it's been difficult because the employees that we are allowed to hire do not have to have degrees in any health and profession. They do not have to be QMHPs, which is a big standard for the state of Texas. Now, I can assure you, I have hired people who answer the 988, could run circles around me. They have empathy, they have caring, they ask enough questions. Talk to me, I'm going to tell you what your problem is, and move on. Well, that's not what 988 does. They want people who will listen, help the person figure out what's going on, and more important, to make sure they're not at risk. There's obviously suicide is a big factor, but people will call the 988. You'll get the ones who say, no, I'm not at risk, but my workers say they really sound like they are at risk. Or you get the people who say, oh, I am going to kill myself. We get the authorities out, and what do you think they tell the authorities? You're not suicidal. So when we first started the 24/7, we only got about 80 calls a month. That was great. This is good business. Well, yesterday, Houston had one of her clients come in and say to her, well, I just called 988 and they don't provide the same service you provide. She was telling me this, and I said, no, well, I use some language I try not to. I said, of course not. They're paying you $150 and we're taking these calls for free. Guess what? We're not going to be a doctor in psychiatric nursing and counseling. So if you have an opportunity, call 988, see how it works for you, but understand we're not licensed counselors. We're there to help you get through whatever's going on. The other thing I find interesting in people call 988, they actually believe you're going to talk to them 45 minutes to an hour to discuss their life problems, and then somehow we're going to solve it. That's not what we do. Our goal is to help them solve their own, to get the right referrals, and to clarify they're not at risk. And so, any questions? I hope this isn't being recorded.
And to kind of add to what Jamie has said, people don't realize, okay, it's a national hotline, and how the calls are routed depends on your phone number. So if you lived in Texas and you moved to Timbuktu, because we've even had a call from Japan or whatever, but it goes by whatever phone number shows up. If it's a Texas phone number, it's routed to Texas. If it's a Missouri phone number, it's routed to Missouri. So you may have moved to Texas from Missouri, but if you didn't change your phone number, your cell number, you're going to Missouri. So that's one of the issues that we have, is getting emergency help to people, as quickly as possible. As she mentioned, our workers are trained to look up that information. However, it does take a little bit longer. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Do I have a volunteer to go next? Carrie, you ready to go next? Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carol Henson. I'm the Behavioral Health Administrator for UT Health North Campus, and I work with UT Health across the division for the delivery of behavioral health services. Of course, UT Health includes 10 hospitals, numerous clinics. I am located at the North Campus on Highway 271. Highway 271, the North Campus, is your primary location for the delivery of inpatient behavioral health services in our community. I have 74 inpatient hospitalization beds. 30 of those beds are long-term residential. 14 of those beds I partner with the Andrews Center to provide those services, acute services for individuals who have no funding. 20 beds are for patients, adult patients who have insurance. And then I have 10 beds of geriatrics. And yes, my geriatrics start as young as 55. So with that said, we also have an outpatient behavioral health clinic on that campus for adults, an intensive outpatient program for those that need a step down from hospitalization. And then over at our Lake Street, behind old ETLC on Lake Street, I have an outpatient child adolescent clinic. And then in Pittsburgh, Texas, last July, I opened an adult clinic there. With everything that I just said, what you will notice that's missing is child adolescent services. Right now in our community, that's where we have a big gap, is the provision of child adolescent services, inpatient services. I do have child adolescent psychiatrists that work in the community, but we do not have any inpatient child adolescent services. We have psychology services. At UT, we have a psychiatry resident program. So UT several years ago decided, we can't get psychiatrists to move to this area, let's train our own. And so we've been fortunate over the last couple of years to train psychiatrists to stay in East Texas. But we also see a gap in psychology. So we have a psychology internship out there and fellowship, and we're training our own providers to stay in East Texas. Our clinics have an extremely long waiting list, but if you're wondering how to access services, first start with talking to your primary care provider about what your needs are. Have your primary care provider to make a referral. If you can't get you that way, go down to the local mental health center, which having a mental illness or talking to a counselor or seeing a psychiatrist. And at UT Health, we have psychiatrists and mental health providers that look like you. We have people that can relate to who you are, where you are in that stage of your life. Yes, I have some that look like Doogie Howser, they're young, but I have also the older psychiatrists. And sometimes people just want to know that you have someone that looks like you, that can talk to you. And at UT Health, we actually have those providers. So if there are any questions, I'm here, but I'm always willing to come out and talk to you, talk to your group, talk to your church about mental health and how to access mental health services.
All right, thanks, Carol. Are there any questions for Carol at this point? I see Mr. Stewart, is that you?
Yes, my brother. Carol mentioned the psychologist and the psychiatrist that the intern program out there. Do you know how much of a success rate they're staying in each test once they graduate?
So for our residency program, we take 6 residents a year. A full complement in the residents over their 4-year training is 24. We have been lucky to retain at least 2 from each graduating class in our community. When I say our community, not necessarily Tyler, but our surrounding community, because we want them to stay in the East Texas area. So over the last couple of years, we've been lucky to retain at least 1 or 2 in our community. And that's what we were striving for, is to train those individuals, get them acquainted with East Texas, get them to fall in love in East Texas. There are some statistics around, if you get a doctor here to train and he meet his spouse here, he's most likely going to stay in your community once he gets roots in our community. So about 1 to 2 each graduating class stay within our East Texas community.
Any other questions? Did that answer your question, Mr. Stewart? Okay, any other questions? Okay, we're going to move over to Keisha Morris. Keisha, she is with the Andrews Center, so we'll let you talk about if you want to tell about your credentials or whatever you need us to know.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Like Ms. Newsom said, I still call her Ms. Newsom. I'm Keisha Morris. I'm Chief STEM Officer with the Andrews Center. I've been with the Andrews Center approximately a year and a half now. My previous job was Executive Director for Centacor. I have a long history as far as a career in dysfunction. One of my first jobs was corrections. I worked in the correctional field for 10 years. My last 3.5 years with TDCJ, I was a sergeant. After that, I was a victims advocate for the East Texas Crisis Center for 15 years. So when I say I've been immersed in dysfunction, I have truly been immersed in dysfunction. During that time, I got my license as a clinical dependency counselor. That's where my passion is because of 2 people I love very much. One I just lost recently, my uncle, and the other was my mother. My mother's in recovery. She has been clean and sober for about 35 years now. Grace of God. She was one of those unicorns though. She got clean and sober without going into treatment. Now, here's the deal. There's a spiritual aspect to recovery. Her recovery was in church. I wholeheartedly pray and believe. She was very blessed, but there are also other avenues for folks who are struggling. It all comes back to spirituality though, in the end. But you have to know, when you're talking about mental health and substance use disorder, you have to seek out help. You need support. It's not anything that you're going to be able to do alone. How I ended up in this position, I attended a sequential intercept mapping. It was done here. It's a community needs assessment. We got together, 75 stakeholders in the community, from law enforcement, counseling, all sorts of recovery agencies, courts. They were all there. So that's where we're working. I'm over 3 programs. One of those programs is mobile crisis, where we work really closely with Avail. Avail answers the hotline calls, basically triages those to us during the day, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Mobile crisis goes out and screens individuals in crisis. Those are some of the folks that you might see on the street, you know, that are talking to the sky, and somebody calls in and says, you know, I'm worried about this person. I think they are a danger to themselves, or they might be a danger to some other people. We take those calls. Primarily, those calls come from the ER. Even when we get those calls, we direct people to the ER because we want to get them evaluated. Basically, when I say evaluated, we want to get them evaluated with a UA. That way we can rule out substance abuse. Because what happens is substance use disorders, if you are in acute psychosis, it could very well be due to the substances. So we want to rule that out before we say, hey, let's get this person placed into a bed, because it might just be the drugs for that moment. With that being said, that's where we come in with Carol and her team. We try to get the person into the least restrictive environment. They may not need hospital placement. They may just need to, you know when their next appointment is with the Andrew Center. They might just need someone to talk to. They just might need, you know, some answers, some support, some housing. These are some of the things that Andrew Center provides. I could go down the list. There's a mile-long list of services that the Andrew Center provides. So I'll just tell you, visit the website or call our offices, because we could be here all day. Like I said, I've been with the Andrew Center a year, and you know, a lot of times it's just like, we have that service. I didn't know we had that service. You know, so call the number, go and visit the website, andrewcenter.com. The crisis hotline number is there as well, and you will get information on our services. Another thing is competency. Competency is near and dear to my heart as well. It was another thing that I didn't know Andrew Center does. We have a jail-based program we just started up. We had outpatient competency restoration. Now we have jail-based. With that, we are able to remove people from the state hospital wait list. The wait list is probably about a year and a half long, so people sit in jail and decompensate, waiting to be restored. And when I say restored, it's restored enough to be able to understand the trial process. So this isn't anything that Smith County, I had to look at this closely, because I was, you know, when I get on my soapbox, you know, it's hard to see things from a different lens. And when, you know, I started talking to the jail's goal is not to hold people. Basically, there were very few resources there. And now that we have jail-based and outpatient competency restoration programs together, we're able to restore people with forced meds. You know, the biggest issue with forced meds, well, with an individual suffering from mental health disorder, is that they don't want to take their meds. So now we have judges that have agreed to sign off on compelled meds. We won't say forced, because a lot of families freak out when they hear forced. No, we're not wrestling anybody down to get their meds, or to give them their meds, but we are supporting someone we've got staff in the jail. We have staff at 2 hospitals now. 2 days out of the week, what we did, we went through and evaluated the busiest days of the weeks at the hospital, and we put the crisis staff in there. And usually we have placement in less than 24 hours. And the biggest rift and problem we've had with PD is that they did not want to go in and sit with those clients. Now we're able to place people in acute hospital care faster. We've created more contracts with surrounding areas. Whereas if Carol doesn't have a bed, we have created more contracts and have more partnerships with outside programs. We brought in a system called Transfer All. We're able to plug in their information and get somebody placed or find placement within minutes. It pops up wherever there is availability. The placement area will pop up in wherever the place. A record, we've placed 17 people in 1 day. That's a record. And Ms. Newsom, you know, the old method was fax the paperwork out to 2 or 3 different locations, wait for somebody to approve them. Well, when we push that information out, we can actually see if they saw the referral, you know. So there's some accountability there. There's a whole lot of accountability there. Our busiest month was March this year. For crisis, we had over 700 encounters with individuals in crisis. Now, those encounters are not the actual phone calls, but what we do, we also follow up the next day after a person has called in, and we go through what they've said on those calls. And in our morning meetings, we sit down, we discuss the priorities, we put them in order, and we're able to call those folks back and discuss appointments and discuss when they can come in. So there's progress being made. I know that's a lot of information, but I'm very proud of the work that my three teams have been doing. Shameless plug. We have an event coming up on the 30th. This is a SIM initiative, the 2nd annual, 3 months after I started working for the Andrews Center. We had a conference. So this will be the 2nd annual conference, and it's May 30th. It starts at 8:30 p.m. It is at TJC West Campus. We're going to have a guest speaker, Dr. Q is what we call her. She is out of Houston. She's former Air Force. She's a therapist herself. This training is free. We're providing CE hours. I'm the chair for the Behavioral Health Leadership team as well. So Behavioral Health Leadership is actually hosting this to support SIMs. It is really good to have friends, I'll just say that. But we are proud of these trainings. We network. We have over 150 people already registered. Hopefully everybody will show up. If they don't, we're still going to run the show. We're going to run the show. Does anybody have any questions? No, it's free. It's 100% free. 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. Yeah. CE hour, I'm sorry. P.m. I said p.m. 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. That topic is the intersections between mental illness and substance use disorder. This has been a goal of mine for a while to have this training. It's about how we communicate within mental health as providers, and then the mutual aid groups and churches, how we need to get on the same page as far as how we communicate. Because a lot of what we say when we're talking about mental health and substance use disorder, it contradicts each other. It very much contradicts each other. Well, if you're under case management, that's one of the number of services that the Andrews Center does provide. Bringing that up, there's one more thing. We just got, I haven't written a grant in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years. And we just got a grant for jail-based, to support jail-based. $200,000 for 2 years. So we're going to be able to provide twice the services that we're providing now. Another one is we got chosen because of the SIM initiative and the work that we're doing in the community We got chosen for a pilot program for a position, jail, pretty much aviator, jail organizer. It's 2 case management positions we're looking at to actually do case management in the jail and transition continuity of care to the entry center, so we're not losing track of folks. So.
Okay, thank you for your questions. I know we're just a little bit over, but if you'll give us your attention for at least about another 10, 15 minutes, we're going to hear from Brashawn. And Brashawn, before I bring you on, I think I have somebody who wanted to brag a little bit on you before you speak.
Oh, it's me. I'm back again.
Rashawn is another one of my babies, y'all. She's another one of mine, so it's personal once again, just like Tyrec. She's like a daughter to me, and I'm very, very proud of Rashawn. She's done a lot of work, and she loves kids, and she loves what she does. So, this is her home. Tyler is her home, and she received her bachelor's in social work from Stephen F. Austin, and she's working towards her master's degree right now. She's been in mental health for the past 5 years, but she believes in helping others and educating them, and she's not ashamed. She wants to make sure that nobody is ashamed and can talk about it. So she helps from the little people to the big people, all around. So just like Tyrec, he's young, 26, but she's just a little bit older. So I'm gonna pass it on to her for sure.
All right, Brashawn.
Like she said, I'm here from Tyler, been here all my life, never left. I am a qualified mental health professional at Community Health Corps, which is out of Longview, Texas. We have some of the same programs as the Andrew Center has here in Tyler. A lot of the times, people who look like us, we like to deflect it that we need help. We think that we're strong individuals who we can pray about it and God will provide. Yes, He will, but sometimes we have to admit that we need the help. And reaching out to different services, no matter where you live, if it's Andrew Center, Community Health Corps, there are people out there who are willing to listen and help. They provide services that will help you with getting those medications, because a lot of us don't have the health care that we need as far as finances. Community Health Corps offers mental health services as well as primary care. Not everybody wants the counseling and wants to talk about what's going on with them, what their battles are. They just say, you know, I'll agree to take the medicine, but I'm really not trying to talk about what I have going on. I'd rather not have people in my business. But it's not necessarily about having people in your business. It's about having somebody there to support you, to encourage you, to guide you in the right direction of getting over that hump that has got you trying to figure out which way do I go if I really belong here. I'm gonna piggyback off of some of the other people who are on this panel. Avail is a big help to our community. They answer that phone. I know sometimes those calls are
mental health goes as far as this specific color, but it hits every color. It does not matter. I've had to deal with situations in my family where we've had to call law enforcement to come and help with my brother and his mental health. And having the support of them and having the right training to be able to handle that situation goes a long way. So thank you for what you've done. I'm sure, I'm pretty sure that we will come into contact again. But I just want to say that there are so many resources out there that we try not to limit this community to. This is an amazing event for us to display that it doesn't just hit the East Texas area, but it's everywhere, nationwide, and being able to know that they not only help with mental health, IED, substance use, and there are so many different programs out there in these facilities. I know Andrew Center has a lot of the same ones that we have, but providing education on how to handle substance use and how substance and mental health go hand in hand. A lot of drugs that are out there right now, especially fentanyl, we have different programs that hit the streets, that go out, reach out to the community, go into the bridge, go into the woods, providing individuals with Narcan and education and having the resources to find placement for them in substance programs and paying for it. I think a lot of the times we think, well, we don't have the money, so I'd rather keep dealing with this problem than find the resources out there to help me get the help that I need. But they're out there. We just have to pick up the phone, look online, make those phone calls, and see what help we can get out there. Community Health Corps, again, has a lot of resources. You can check online. We have child development, ECI, mental health for youth, mental health for adult substance use. So if you just want to look online, see what resources that we can offer. If you have any questions, I'm more than welcome to answer any of them. But that's about it.
Do you have any questions for the county?
Yes. So, so Community Health Corps, we have Louis, Cass, Greg, Harrison, Marion, Panola, Red River, Rusk, Upshur.
Most of that's, I think that you went through, that's most of East Texas. And Andrew Center,
Smithwood, Brandon, Van Zandt, and Henderson County.
okay. Yes.
When you call 988 for mental health, who do they send out? The police?
Again, as James said, we don't send anybody out when we call 988 unless there is a big need.
You know, take care of the person that's having the problem.
Okay.
The police come,
When you call 988, you're going to get a trained crisis worker who's going to talk to you. If you are in the process of taking your life, or if you are strongly imminent within 24 hours of taking your life, then we're going to send emergency services. Generally, that's going to come in the form of your local law enforcement, because they're the only ones that can actually take you into custody, okay? If you're not imminent and in that process, 988 may be able to work with your local mental health authority to send out a mobile crisis outreach team. That team, Andrew Center has one, Community Health Corps has one. So if you're in that area, they may be able to send a team out or a person out to sit and assess you and talk with you. But calling 988 is not a guarantee that someone is coming. It depends on the information that is gotten. Does that answer your question? Yes.
Who all would be, if it's a crisis team that's sent instead of the police, how many people would be on that crisis
That's what most of our agencies, we call it a team. A good team would consist of a bachelor's level, a licensed counselor, and a law enforcement. That would be a good team. However, because of financial, I think is Andrew Stenner still the one person that comes out unless they think they need another person for safety reasons. Is that the same with community health court? Yes. So you generally, if someone's coming out, it may be one person. If they're thinking something during the day, you can get a law enforcement. I know Andrew Center has a couple of deputies that work with them, so you may get a deputy to come out with that person. It just depends. Yes.
When you have 26 mental health centers, it's like having 26 children. Any of you have 26 children? No. They can be from the same parents, and you swear that none of them are yours. Because the 26 mental health centers have different people with different ideas what they want us to do. So we have guidelines all the way from authorities, which are the police, sheriffs, medical, which are the hospitals, and then just general guidelines. So I can't, if you call 988 and we happen, it rolls to us and you're in San Antonio, we pretty much know what San Antonio does because we answer their crisis line. So sometimes in San Antonio, they have a group that goes out. Other agencies, they're lucky if we can get the police to go out. So it really depends where that person is and what they're telling the 988 worker. So I wish it was black and white. Believe me, it's all kinds of stuff. But the worker will let you know what can be done. And Fire is very much clear. They do not want us to send any police out. We are supposed to make sure the person is willing. And then we give them guidelines about what to do if the police show up. Turn your lights on, put your phone down, be at the door to answer, give them direction, and when we tell the police what's going on. So it's not black and white, and I just wish it was because it would make our lives so much easier. But if you're going to hurt yourself, and my worker believes you are going to do damage, we will get the authorities out because, like Laura says, the police are the only ones that have the authority to take you in if you don't want to go, if they believe you. And like I said, sometimes they show up and the person says, I'm not at risk.
Okay, thank you so much for your attention. On behalf of the Mental Health Awareness Committee, I want to thank the panel. I want to thank you guys for being here, for taking time out of your schedule. And as a result, we have a token of appreciation that I'm going to give you as you exit the stage. And thank you once again. I turn it back over.